customers. So Stephen, kick it away.
Greetings, thank you. Stephen Spiewak here with Hallow. So what is Hallow? I'm going to kind of do a quick deep dive into who we are, what we do, because many of you may not be familiar with us. So Hallow is a Catholic prayer app. It was started by a graduate of the University of Notre Dame. During college, he had kind of fallen away from his faith and found comfort using some of the more secular meditation apps that are out there. And eventually he realized that that was no longer doing it for him. He needed something more. And so he reached out to an old priest friend at the University of Notre Dame, and he said, hey, I've been doing these other kind of secular meditations, but something's missing. It's still not really kind of hitting for me. Does the Catholic Church have anything like this? And the priest looked at him and said, we have a rich 2,000-year history of all sorts of meditation and prayer, and I can't believe you missed this during your time at Notre Dame. So he kind of dove into kind of Catholic meditation and prayer, and he built this app to help himself pray. And it kind of continued to grow from there. He pitched this concept to some VCs, and this was at a time when blockchain and crypto and cannabis and kind of all these other buzzwords were super trendy. And his message was, hey, I made an app to help people pray and find peace. And it got funding, and we've continued to grow ever since. Our CEO's name is Alex Jones. If you Google Alex Jones, you'll quickly find out we could use some help on Google image search, because that is not the man you will see. So any Google image search experts, please reach out. So this is the Super Bowl. Rams, Bengals, SoFi Stadium a couple years ago. I used to work in the ticketing industry, and I love the idea of like the Super Bowl of an industry. So in tickets, the Super Bowl was the Super Bowl. Last year, maybe it was like Taylor Swift's tour was the Super Bowl. But these moments that are absolutely critical to defining your business outcomes for your quarter or your fiscal year. So, I think of Mother's Day and greeting cards, Valentine's Day, chocolates, flowers. As mentioned, the Super Bowl, if you are a Catholic prayer app, is Ash Wednesday. So Ash Wednesday is the start of Lent. Lent is a very penitential period for the Catholic Church and for broader Christians in general. You may have heard people talk about, I'm giving up chocolate for Lent, I'm giving up coffee or soda for Lent, trying to kind of sacrifice a vice to make room for God in your life. In addition to giving something up, people will often say, I'm going to, whatever, I'm going to commit to something, and that is often prayer. So as people are thinking about how they're going to observe Lent, which starts on Ash Wednesday, we want them to be thinking of, I want to take up a habit of prayer, and I want it to be with Hallow. It's almost like a New Year's resolution. So if you're not front and center when you are Planet Fitness trying to get someone to commit to joining a gym for the new year, like people aren't beginning New Year's resolutions on January 23rd, right? You need to be New Year's Eve, like you got to be top of mind, you got to be ready to move, you got to be ranking where you want to rank, and that is certainly the case with with Ash Wednesday and Lent. Like if we are not where we want to be when it's that, this case was February 22nd, it just doesn't work for us. So the big picture results of our Ash Wednesday campaign, we were number 3 in the App Store for 2 days in February. We surpassed TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And we were awarded the Best Mobile Growth Campaign by Branch, which was really exciting for us. Some of the people here have talked about having multiple teams, having different parts of the organization underneath them. Our team is 6 people. So if I reference, the social team, the creative team, it's usually one person doing that. So this team of 6 got us to number 3 in the App Store when it absolutely mattered the most for our brand. And so digging into kind of like that App Store performance, share a little bit about how we think about App Store optimization. And there are 3 main levers that we consider when we think about our performance inside of the App Store. So the first is kind of like the general, it's most similar to SEO, like the keywords, the title tags, like the actual kind of how are we describing the app? How are we titling it? How are we tagging it? What copy are we using? We use Sensor Tower for that, but App Annie, Apptopia, if anyone has done ASO, you may be familiar with those tools. But that is kind of the most direct comparison to organic search, is like, all right, well, what are we saying? What is the content we're putting in our App Store profile? The second is the creative that you see here on the screen. This is for Advent. We have Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen this Advent, along with Liam Neeson. But this is where we really begin to lean into the seasonality of our business. So this will look very different during Lent than it does in Advent, but this helps us be seasonally relevant to people inside of the App Store to help drive App Store optimization and App Store performance. And then the third, and in our experience, absolutely most important factor in driving our performance inside of the App Store is the velocity of our downloads. So or the install. So this is Hallow, kind of quietly hanging out down here. That top black line is TikTok, and then YouTube, Facebook, Instagram are also on that chart. We hung out all the way here, and then at the very end there, we surpassed them. This is just velocity of install. So we can title our app the way we want to title it. We can have great creative, but funneling a massive deluge of people installing the app is the single biggest factor in our success in being number 3 for all top free apps in the App Store. When we think about the App Store, we also think about our paid play there and optimizing Apple search ads. So we have a case study here that we did with Apple doing custom product pages. So if you are searching for maybe the rosary, you'll see creative that reflects more of your search intent. If you are looking for sleep prayers, nighttime prayers, the creative will match that. Again, seasonality, Advent, Lent, big moments inside of the liturgical cycle of the church. The creative will reflect that and make it a more relevant experience. Now I want to dig into organic search, which is a really, really big channel for us and one that's near and dear to my heart. So this is a keyword, it's hard to see, Lent 2023. That was really critical to our success heading into Ash Wednesday. It's interesting the nuance that we see when we go from Lent to Lent 2023. So someone looking for Lent, you're going to see Wikipedia, you're going to see an encyclopedia result, you're going to see kind of just broad informational results about what is Lent, right? When you add that 2023 to modify that query, it immediately suggests some sort of intent to either observe, participate, practice Lent. And so that's the query we want to compete for. And I want to show you a little bit about our competitors. So for these big, massive queries, we compete with generally 2 types of sites. One is kind of like the calendar, date, time type of sites, where very little actual kind of information on the holidays, but like, here's the day that it falls on, here's the time it begins, here's the day of the month. And then the second big competitor that we have, and much bigger competitors usually, are publishers. So there are publishers who recognize that there is a lot of search volume around some of these queries. And so the Southern Livings, the Good Housekeepings, the Red Books, like these publishers know that people are looking for information and that it's relevant for their audience, so they will put up a page on Lent 2023. And we believe that as the #1 prayer app in the world, we are the best resource to meet the needs of someone seriously wanting to develop a habit of prayer. So we want to rank #1, not so much just for SEO and get people to download the app, like we think we're the best solution. We think we will, if you're looking for this, we will provide a better solution than Good Housekeeping. And so for the Lent 2023 query, it's a really interesting trajectory. During the summer, we were bottom of the first page for, again, this query that's critical to our business. You see kind of that orange line, that's our average position, courtesy of Google Search Console. It continues to kind of creep up and creep up. That reflects Google recognizing that someone looking for Lent 2023 in August, probably, maybe more of that kind of informational, what is Lent 2023? As we get closer to Ash Wednesday, if you're looking for Lent 2023 again, like you are probably looking to maybe participate. And so that's where we win out, is Google recognizes that the content that we offer is more relevant to the immediate urgency of the season than these kind of other competitors that we have. And so this is the date and time calendar website that was originally outranking us for Lent 2023. Lots of ads, lots of just kind of general calendar content. And then you see our page, that's original artwork from our designers. All of our content is like theologically vetted. We take that very, very seriously, and we lean into the quality of our content. And so we just kind of gradually creeped up, and then we were number one when it mattered most. And then after Ash Wednesday, a couple days later, we drop back down. The calendar site begins to kind of reclaim that top spot again, but it doesn't matter because we ranked where we needed to rank when it mattered most. And so the big picture of our organic performance, you kind of see these spikes during Advent. We 10x'd our organic traffic year over year in Lent 2023 compared to Lent 2022. I know for a lot of much larger brands, that is much, much, much more difficult to do. But at our size now, I checked Ahrefs this morning, our organic footprint is about 3x the size of Calm and Headspace. So we're not small, and we're continuing to grow really rapidly on the organic search front. So this is a little hard to see, but we think about kind of like that whole customer experience. We heavily use Branch to tailor the CTAs and lower banners that are appearing when you land on our site. And so this is our standard bottom banner that will compel you to install and start a trial on Hallow. The left one here is Advent specific, some seasonal colors. It references Advent. This is, again, leaning into the seasonality and embracing that. And this is very easy to do A/B testing inside a Branch. I know testing came up in the last presentation, but it's also a nice way to kind of get more juice out of that organic traffic that we're driving. We're testing, we're learning like what works on the creative front that we could potentially apply to other channels. I want to spend a minute on link relevance. So Hallow has 3,500 referring domains. That is not all that much relative to probably every other brand in this room. But what we do have is we have domains that are really relevant if you're a Catholic prayer app. So this is a study by an agency called Journey Further that was published in Moz. You may have seen it, but it argues that the single biggest factor for a backlink profile and organic visibility is not the number of links, it's not the number of domains, it's not, Moz metric or Ahrefs metric, it's topical link relevance. It's where are you getting your links from? And so for us, we have a lot of links that are really, really relevant for us that would not matter to any other brand if you're not trying to engage people on the topic of prayer, but they really matter if you're trying to rank for the keywords that we're trying to rank for. So if you go into Ahrefs, we're a small number of total links, small number of referring domains, but our domains matter so much to our business that it allows us to outperform a publisher with much, much larger number of domains, number of total links. And so some of these total links are from publishers that you may have never heard of, but they really, again, help us to punch above our weight against much bigger competitors who, again, they do decent content, but they are not fully invested in the prayer lives of the people that are ending up on their website. We are. The other thing that these links allow us to do is it insulates us a bit from these competitors who recognize like the programmatic SEO and the AI opportunities of a lot of the queries that we're competing for. So if you look at prayers for fill in the blank, there's probably 10,000 different keywords. Prayers for my dog, prayers for my wife, prayers for sleep, prayers for health, prayers for surgery. There are people that take AI, spin up a page, publish it, and do 10,000 of those to try to compete. When we have links from trusted websites, that helps protect us. Like we're vetted by organizations that are invested in this sort of actual prayer experience. And it helps us build trust with our audience. So here is kind of one example of a really relevant link that is super helpful for Hallow. Probably doesn't matter for anyone else. This is from the Diocese of Paterson in my home state of New Jersey. This is from the bishop there. He recommended Hallow, and he talked about it here. Here is the link. Here is the domain. Maybe I'm not giving kind of spammer link builders enough credit, but I have to imagine this domain has never been pitched before from someone looking to build a link. The Diocese of Paterson is not the first place I would go in pretty much any other industry trying to build a link. But this is a more important link for us than a New York Times or a Washington Post or a Wall Street Journal. You can't get this sort of link anywhere else other than you've demonstrated the ability to produce really, really valuable content that is genuinely helping people. So again, we're leaning into kind of producing that valuable content that helps us earn links organically. So we didn't pitch this. He just found it and linked to us, which was really significant. Another big area of opportunity for us on the search front is our work with influencers. So on Ash Wednesday, Mark Wahlberg appeared on the Today Show and spoke about his faith. Highly recommend, if you ever have the opportunity to have Mark Wahlberg speak about your brand on national TV, definitely take him up on that. But we had kind of the little mention here inside of the video. So Mark did a great job. He's a great partner of ours. But I think one of the key things that we can do as a smaller brand, we're more nimble. There are fewer barriers. There are fewer silos. Like, we know what the influencer person is working on. We know who is speaking where. We know what they're doing. We know what they're saying. And I think that's an advantage that a company our size has against some of the larger brands, is that we know, everyone in the entire company knows when Mark Wahlberg is appearing on television. And so how do we capitalize on that on search? We have a page that has Mark Wahlberg's name in the title, so that when you Google Hallow Mark Wahlberg, you're not finding some news story that this press appearance generated. You're finding our own website that is then going to push you, hopefully, down the funnel to download and install the app. And then the second thing here, hard to read, I'm sorry. When I talk about small team, our design team is also very small, so this was designed by me. This says Mark Wahlberg 40-day challenge. So this keyword did not exist until Mark Wahlberg went on television and spoke about his faith and spoke about working with Hallow for 40 days during Lent to help people build a habit of prayer. Calling Lent the Mark Wahlberg 40-day challenge is like the equivalent of calling Christmas like the St. Nicholas 24-hour gift palooza or something. Like, this is not a real keyword. This is a social keyword that was born of work with our influencer that reflects how people were describing us on TikTok, on Reddit, on YouTube. And so we noticed this, we capitalized on it, we ran ads against it, we have this page that now reflects that. And so it speaks to like that brand listening on social and that knowing that people are searching for things outside of Google. And so when people come to our site, if they do not click the branch banner to install the app and they do not sign up on web and they end up leaving our site, we love using ads from our influencers to retarget people on social. So by virtue of your being in the room with me today, you will probably see a Hallow ad on your Instagram today. But we love kind of taking all of this great organic traffic we're driving, introducing people to Hallow, being as seasonally relevant as possible, and then a day later, hey, come back, check out Hallow, let's go, stay prayed up. And then again, another quick slide on the other search channels that people are looking for answers to their questions. With Google kind of constantly making updates, we've seen, Reddit, I think, kind of improve in their organic visibility because a lot of people turn to Reddit to find actual solutions to their problems, not just SEO optimized content, but they want real people providing real answers. And so you'll see how to buy Taylor Swift tickets, Reddit. And they want to know, like, how are actual people solving these problems? And, if you're not paying attention to how people are searching inside of these platforms, and you're not participating in those conversations, you're potentially missing out. So quick results at the very end here. We were the fastest growing app in the world on Ash Wednesday, which was really exciting for us. We were the first wellness, meditation, or religious app to crack the top 10 in the App Store. Again, I mentioned organic traffic was up 10x year over year. We targeted doubling our performance, 2xing our growth from the last Advent, and we 5x our growth with 75% better efficiency. And so a couple themes and takeaways. One is, like, some of this may not be relevant for the larger brands here, but like think about, is there a challenger brand in your space that, if you're Michaels and there's a competitor that's earning links from every arts and crafts teacher in America or school in America, like that could be a competitor if they're earning really relevant links. Don't stress the off season. When we were sitting in August and we weren't ranking where we wanted to rank for Lent 2023, it didn't matter. Like Google is putting out so many core updates, helpful content updates. We as SEOs get almost too focused on the now and what's the latest. Is there a fluctuation? Is there an update? It's like if you're investing in good content, you're earning strong links, you're going to be fine. Collaboration, communication. Our success was enabled by the fact that we were a small and nimble team, and that's something that works for us and I think would work for you all, continuing to kind of build bridges to other teams and other channels, brand, PR, influencer. And then again, that search is so much bigger than Google. People are turning to other platforms for answers, and we're all trying to meet them there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. That's a sneaky little marketing tactic to have all of you talk about Hallow and then we appear in all of our Instagram ads later today. Clever. It's a good one. Any questions quickly for Stephen? Okay, got one here.
Yeah, just a quick one. Patty Boyle from Distillery. I'm going to step out of my distillery role, though, for a second. So in my other life, what I'll call my education life, I've spent many years in education marketing, in academia, a lot with the Archdiocese, foundations, et cetera. I've never been effectively reached by Hallow, and I have every reason to be. I'm curious how you think about brand identity. I see everything that you're doing in SEO, et cetera, but is there an effort toward kind of the wider brand voice?
Yeah, so brand is really important to us. I think there are two kind of big things that we think about. One is that we think that we're trying to help people draw close to God, and we're taking a very kind of bold, no one's ever done this before. No one's built a Catholic prayer app. So we are trying to go big, and we're trying to reach people that we're not trying to just speak to people that are praying the rosary every day, going to daily mass every day. As a brand, we want to reach out to people that may not be praying every day, but maybe they see that Mark Wahlberg ad or they see Liam Neeson. It's let me check that out. Let me take a look at that. Well, oh, daily prayer. Oh, this is kind of cool. And Mark Wahlberg. Oh, let me give it a shot. Let me explore it. So I think as a brand, we're committed to reaching out to people that might not already be actively praying. I think the second thing is we are the quality of our content is something we take really, really seriously, and that is reflected in the design of our app, the investment in creative that you see on our blog. We want younger people to see our product and think this is every bit as good as a Netflix, a Spotify. This is something that will engage me as a young person. The other kind of prayer products in our space, I don't know if they can say that as much, but we want our brand to be something that impresses people and is as good of a quality as any other brand out there.
Hey, Stephen, this is Pearson from H&R Block. Funny enough, I got served an Instagram ad earlier this week from you guys. It's Instagram knew my itinerary this week or something. Anyways, it sounds like right now you're in full-on growth mode, acquire as many users as possible. How are you guys thinking about the stickiness of your app, once you start reaching critical mass and keeping people around past the seasonal high periods?
Yeah, that's a great question, and honestly, it's one that we're still thinking about, right? So we're 5 years old. We've only been through kind of the Advent and Lent cycle, I guess 4.5 years now. So we're still learning. I think kind of helping people form community inside of the app is something that we're thinking about. So if you go to church on Sunday and you see people at church and you engage with them there, how can we kind of make space for someone to build that community inside of Hallow as well? So yeah, I think it's we're a lot of it is we're still learning. We don't have all the answers, but habit building and retention is really important to us because we're doing a great job of introducing people to Hallow, but how do we make sure that they stick with us after the new year, after Advent. So.
Okay, time for one more question.
Hi, Matthew Lorton, Director of Search and SEO at Zimmerman Advertising. I wanted to say thank you for touching on Planet Fitness as the media AOR for Planet Fitness. You just reminded me that we won't be sleeping for the next 30 days during our Super Bowl. But you actually brought up a really good point on Apple search ads, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain on how you approached Apple search ads from not just from a paid side, but any sort of SEO implications as you dove into the app kind of program and how you decided to bring SEO into that environment.
Yeah, so I think that, again, what we found is we really spent a lot of time with the SEO components of App Store optimization. And when we think about just like the keywords, the titles, Sensor Tower is helpful in looking at volume. It's helpful looking at position ranking. So we can see, what are the keywords we might want to target? What are the volumes? What's the difficulty? That's all helpful. It's very SEO familiar. So it's easy to kind of dive into that. But we did not see anywhere near the same sort of growth and improvement investing in that form of ASO as we did when we just really started accelerating our installs. So it was almost like kind of on the back burner. Like all right, we're optimized. Like we got the seasonal keywords. And now let's just drive a ton of installs to really boost our performance there.
Well, I know it was the last question. I just have one comment. I was one of those people watching the Today Show with Mark Wahlberg and did that exact search.
Thank you, Lisa.
So I was part of it. I didn't stick, but or do go with it. But so you went exactly what you did was obviously appropriate. So and also Mark Wahlberg can be your Ryan Reynolds. So.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, just a comment. John, take it away.
Yep. All right. Hey, thank you. Big round of applause for Steven. Steven, great job.